Maayong aga sa tanan, a pleasant morning to all the faculty, staff, families, friends, and my fellow graduates. My name is Kate Julian Larroder, an international student from Iloilo City, Philippines, and I am graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism and Communication. It is an honor to stand before you today and speak on behalf of this graduating class. When people ask what it takes to get here, I think of two numbers: 8,309 and 3. I flew 8,309 miles and packed my entire life into 3 big suitcases just to be here. And I know I'm not the only one in this room who had to leave something behind to get to this moment. Being here was never part of the plan that was written for me. In fact, if everything had gone according to plan, I would not be standing here today. I would probably be somewhere in scrubs in a hospital explaining to someone's family what a normal heart rate looks like. And honestly, that would have been a good life, a stable life, and a life that made sense. But it would not have been mine. I grew up in a Filipino family shaped by migration and sacrifice, where certain careers are not just encouraged, they are expected. Nursing, engineering, medicine, they are seen as lifelines, as security, as a way to build something better for the next generation. Choosing anything else can feel like breaking an unspoken contract, and I felt that. When I decided to pursue journalism, I did not tell most of my relatives. I avoided the question, changed the subject, said I'm not sure, even when I knew exactly what I wanted. Because in our culture, choosing the arts meant choosing uncertainty. It meant choosing something that did not come with guarantees. And it meant carrying the quiet fear that I might be letting people down. And so I worked harder. I tried to prove that my choice was not irresponsible and that it meant something. And I know I'm not the only one. Some of us chose paths that did not make sense to everyone else. Some of us changed majors. Some of us are still figuring it out, and yet, here we are. Columbia gave me that space to figure that out. It gave me people who believed in me before I truly believed in myself, friends who became family, mentors who pushed me to grow, and a community that made it possible to fail, learn, and try again. It gave me the career center where I had my very first job. It was there that I found my confidence, met lifelong friends, and encountered people who believed in me enough to let me go and pursue something bigger. And it gave me the Chronicle. The Chronicle shaped not just the kind of journalist that I want to be, but the kind of person that I hope to be. As a reporter, I have sent more emails than I would like to admit. But through that work, I had the privilege of listening to so many of your stories. I spoke with students across this campus, some of whom I will be walking the stage with. And that changed me, because I realized that this moment is not just about one story. It is about all of ours. It is about the student who worked late nights and early mornings to stay here, the one who felt out of place in the first, but found their people anyway, the one who took a risk on themselves even when it did not make sense to anyone else. And for some of us, it meant leaving home. Flying thousands of miles away from everything familiar to build a life that felt honest. And for me, that journey is rooted in the sacrifices of my family. Because if there is one thing Columbia has taught me, it is this: your path does not have to make sense to everyone else for it to be right to you. So, to the class of 2026, whether your next step is clear or uncertain, whether it looks impressive on paper or only makes sense in your heart, trust it. Trust that the risks you took to get here meant something. Trust that choosing yourself is never the wrong decision. And trust that even if your story does not follow the plan that was written for you, it can still become something better. Padayon. It means keep going in Hiligaynon, my mother tongue. It is written on my cap today, but it has been with me long before this moment. Through 8,309 miles, through 3 suitcases, through every doubt, every question, every risk, keep going. Because no matter where you go next or how far it takes you, you've already proven that you can. Congratulations, class of 2026. Padayon.
Hey everyone! To all the students wearing cap and gown, congrats. And to all the guests sitting on the bleachers, thank you for being here. My name is Sofie Posada, and today I can proudly say that I'm graduating with a BA on Arts and Entertainment Management with a minor in Music Business. The first time I toured Columbia College Chicago, I remember walking through campus scared because I needed to translate everything in Spanish to my mom. Thankfully, everything went well. Right, Mommy? In that moment, something inside me felt very clear. I remember thinking, I belong here. I know it's cheesy, but it's the truth. Not because I had everything figured out, not because I was the most prepared, and definitely not because I wanted to get away from my family, because I love them. But because Columbia felt and is a place where being different is something that you're encouraged to do. During our time here, each of us has followed a completely different path. Some of us spend our days in studios, others in rehearsal rooms, composing music, behind cameras, building businesses, organizing events, writing scripts, composing music, designing, producing, and wondering what our future might look like. But what connects all of us is that Columbia never asks us to fit in a single definition of success. Instead, it asks us to grow, live, persevere, and dream. And growth isn't always comfortable, and it shouldn't be. There were moments where many of us were balancing more than what we could carry. Classes, work, internships, creative roles, leadership roles, and the quiet pressure of trying to figure out who are we becoming. Because yes, those exist. There were moments of doubt, moments of fatigue, moments where the future felt uncertain. And still, we keep growing, we keep fighting, and we keep dreaming big. For me, Columbia became a place where I was allowed to build while I was still becoming. I was able to explore entrepreneurship, creativity, leadership, and community, all at the same time. I learned that sometimes we don't get to choose whether we're ready or not. We just go, go, go. And along the way, I also learned something deeper. That when we're walking in direction of purpose, even when things feel uncertain, there's a quiet kind of peace that reminds us that we're exactly where we need to be. That's something that Columbia has given all of us, not just the amazing skills for the career or the opportunities and connections through the faculty, but the courage to trust our voice, our ideas, and our unique perspectives. Because if there's something that Columbia celebrates, it's individuality. Here, uniqueness isn't something that makes you stand out in a negative way. It's something that makes you valuable. Our differences in our backgrounds, culture, stories, dreams, and religion is what makes this community so powerful. And today, as we graduate, we take that uniqueness with us into the world. But before we do that, I think it's important to recognize the people sitting at the bleachers and the people who aren't here with us anymore, but help with this process. In Spanish, for the Latino community, because I'm proudly Mexican, para nuestra familia y amigos, gracias por confiar y darnos el privilegio de seguir por nuestros sueños, los cuales son muy locos y cansados. Gracias por empujarnos a ser mejores y no rendirnos cuando ya no podíamos más. Gracias porque tal vez ustedes no entiendan el 100% lo que estudiamos, pero aquí están y su apoyo ha sido lo mejor. Gracias por todo el amor y los regaños, que yo sé que vinieron del corazón, pero igual dolieron. Okay, now everything but in English. To our friends and family, thank you for believing in our dreams. Even if those dreams involve late nights, creative risk, and a crazy career path that it was not always easy to explain. Your support, encouragement, and love has made an impact in all of us, more than you could realize. To the staff and faculty at Columbia College Chicago, thank you for challenging us, guiding us, and creating this space where ideas could grow. Your mentorship has shaped not only what we know, but who are we becoming. And for that, we thank you. And to my fellow graduates, I want you to stand up with me and give yourself a round of applause. Take a moment and realize that this is it. You made it. This journey wasn't easy. And if it was for you, I'm happy for you. But it wouldn't be the same without you. The collaborations, the conversations, the creativity, and the community that we built together are what made this experience truly unforgettable. Today marks the end of one of the most important chapters of our life, but also the beginning of a better one. We leave Colombia not as finished products, but as awesome individuals who learn how to keep growing, evolving, and creating. As we enter this new chapter of our lives, my hope for all of us is this: that we continue to embrace the very thing that brought us here in the first place, our uniqueness. Because the world doesn't need us to become copies of what already exists. It needs the perspective, creativity, and courage that only each of us can bring. And with that, I have the privilege to say, congratulations, class of 2026. Let's go do what we best know how to and be different from all of us. With love, signing out, Sofie Posada.